Hi, this is Tony from CassetteComeback.com, and in today's video we're going to look at a cassette which is a bit of a bad boy. A bad boy insofar as it's the kind of person your parents told you to stay away from. They're bad, they're no good, they're unreliable, they're dirty. They are the 70s Memorex. Yes, the MRX2 oxide, which is what it sheds all over your heads. Memorex finest cassette for use on all equipment. Their pads deteriorate, the cassettes squeak, the cassettes shed. Yeah, proper bad boys. But don't believe everything you hear, because I'm going to tell you there's three things, right, which determine whether a cassette deteriorates or is unusable. And these are what I found. One, it depends how they've been stored. If you're going to store them for decades in a damp, cold shed with no insulation or heating, then yeah, most things are going to deteriorate in that environment, not just cassettes. Two, how many times they've been recorded doesn't really matter. It's how many times they've been played. Recorded or played, it's still head contact on the tape. You might have recorded it once and played it 1,000 times. It's going to wear the tape out. And three, it depends on your deck. You know, people say, oh, you know, we're not into cassettes. Oh, I had cassettes and they got all chewed up. You show me a cassette that gets chewed up, I'll show you a deck that hasn't been cleaned or maintained. Because in all my years, I've never had a cassette chew up except once, and that was in my Commodore 64 cassette recorder, which in them days, clean? Isopropyl alcohol and cotton buds? What's that? Never did it, but it chewed it up. So maybe these Memorex are getting a bad rap. But beyond the reputation of being a bad boy, you know, bad boys as well also have to have a certain amount of cool about them. And this does have a certain amount of cool. Look at this. Look at this case. This is a wonderful case. I personally would have preferred these to become standard instead of the Norelco. Why did the Norelco case become standard? Like most things, because it was the cheapest and easiest to make. Because this one, it's beautiful. Open it up, slide the case, slide it out. There we go. Now, what are these little things? These are little retainers. Because the case itself doesn't have any retainers in it, you pop these in and it stops the hub spinning. So yeah, it's a bit of a faff. You have to pop them out. And then you get to the tape, which, you know, let's be honest here, it's a sealed shell. Not particularly great, but it's decent enough. Looks nice enough. Paper label, meh. But let's have a look at the tape in this. And I've forgotten my Bic again. And I knew I was going to do this. But this tape is known for a couple of things. So let me just grab something here to show you what I mean. Right. Most tapes, when it comes to the contact, they have underneath a spring-loaded felt pad. But these Memorex don't. Have a look here, right? Let's see if I can get it in focus. If we look here, we've just got a felt pad that's stuck to the bottom. There's no spring there. So if these haven't been stored right and they deteriorate, this pad deteriorates and you stop getting contact between the head and the tape, because of course the head pushes in here, pushes the tape against this pad. So these cassettes now, you've got to think, are around 45 years old. So yeah, have these deteriorated? Probably, if they haven't been stored right. These ones, luckily enough for me, as you can see, are all properly sealed, and they were also sealed externally because they came in bricks of 12. So these can be replaced if you want to, but in the case of these, they're in one piece. But that's one of the main flaws with these tapes, is here that these pads disintegrate and then after that they don't play. However, this also negates the need for these pads if you're going to use something like a Nakamichi with a pad lifter, because it sort of negates them. Now, the other thing that people say against these tapes is that sometimes they shed. Now, let's have a look at the tape itself. The tape itself, fairly decently calendared. Doesn't look bumpy, not particularly brown. Hey, it's a mid-70s ferric. That's pretty decent, but it doesn't look like Type 0 tape to me. So are these worth having? Well, yeah, I mean, apart from the little clips and the ace case and the bad boy reputation, I think these are very attractive tapes, but the reality is, how do they actually sound? Are they still usable? Or are they just literally something to look at, but not to love? Let's find out. Okay, so I'm going to use a Dragon for this because, apparently this is going to shed all over my head, or it's not going to have good contact and it's not going to play, and it's going to be a nasty tape basically if that's what you read, purely because of its age, but let's have a see how we get on. Now I've already biased this up, so we're just going to go straight to the music. So this is another bit of royalty-free music from the YouTube royalty-free library that's called That Night in Your Car. Let's have a listen. Let's compare it to the source. Back to the tape. Okay, let's put a bit of Dolby on, see how it performs. So peaking at +3 with Dolby now. Back to the source. Let's turn Dolby off. Back to the source. And back to the tape. Okay, that's enough. Let's just use a fade out feature now, because I like this. So we'll fade out just yet. Listen for the hi-hats, the little claps at the top. Right, let's just have a quick check. Yeah, the pad's there. Tape doesn't seem wrinkled or anything. Yeah. So, what else can we talk about regarding this tape? So what else indeed? Well, as we heard there, this ain't the world's best sounding cassette, but what do you want? It's an entry-level ferric from the mid-70s. It's never going to sound like an AR. But it sounded decent. It sounded a lot better than the Type Zeros I've been reviewing, and a lot better than the brand new Chinese cassettes. I mean, at least it wasn't Dropout City. Yes, when we put the Dolby on, it sort of lost the highs a bit. And yes, without the Dolby, it's a bit hissy. But neither did it fail spectacularly, neither did it snap, neither did it leave any deposits on my head. But it's not just about the audio quality in this hobby. It really isn't. We must appreciate the aesthetics. Otherwise, all we would ever run would be would be like TP Maximas or, high-end metals. That's all we'd ever use. It's more than that, this hobby. It's about the intangibles. For example, an MP3 only ever excites one sense, your hearing. Cassettes excite three, your hearing, your vision and your touch. And if you just indulge me, look at this. I created a little J card for this and put a suitable 70s album on it. You know, a suitable 70s album on a cassette from that time. And I like doing that, recording on cassettes from the same period of the albums. And you know, if you look at this, it really is something nice. I like these a lot better than the Norelcos. I really do. Like I said, in the 70s you wouldn't have been able to print out your own J cards in Photoshop, but it looks good. You know, you give this to somebody who's never had a cassette, a young guy, and say, here we go, here's a vintage album for you. They'll look at it and go, wow, look at this, it's tangible, I can touch it, I can look at it. You know, the cassette's in there, slide it in and out. This is a really nice cassette just to have, even if it's not the world's greatest sounding. As a package, I just really like it. And that is the whole point of this hobby. It's not just about the airwaves coming from your speakers or your headphones. It's about the whole 360-degree appreciation through touch, through sight as well as through sound. And these cassettes, if they've been stored well, they seem to work well enough. And like I say, they are bad boys. It's just nice to know, hey, I managed to control one of these. I managed to control it, and I managed to get it round to my way of thinking in storing music on. And that's part of the fun, because it's a lot more fun and rewarding doing that and creating something like this than dragging and dropping a file. So thanks again for watching. I'll be back with another video soon. Please like and subscribe. And until next time, keep on taping. Bye bye.